Draft nerds, welcome in. Right now, we're taking a look at a brand new mock draft from Pro Football Network. Brett Hoffman. We're going to dive into it right now. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content here, please like and subscribe. It is all draft all the time. Let me know what you think about this mock draft in the comment section below as we roll through it. Shedeur Sanders to the Raiders at 1. No big surprise there. We've seen that commonly mocked. We've seen kind of a connection, a flirtation, if you will, between the Sanders camp and the Raiders. New York Giants taking Cam Ward. Both of these teams need quarterbacks. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are viewed by most as the top 2 quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class. And now that Drew Aller has dropped out, I think there's no question about it. They're the top 2 quarterbacks. Personally, I have more questions than answers about those 2 guys. When it comes to drafting them at the very top of the NFL draft, I don't have first round grades on either of them right now. So that's kind of where I'm at with the quarterbacks. It's a sketchy proposition. We'll see what those 2 franchises have going on, if they're able to better support and create a better infrastructure for those 2 quarterbacks moving forward. Travis Hunter, the Patriots, not a big surprise there. You know, whether he's playing cornerback or wide receiver, personally, I would like to see him play wide receiver, catch passes from Drake May, create opportunities for Drake May. And when Drake May gets on the move and is creating and keeping his eyes downfield, Travis Hunter is going to present a target for him in a big way. I just love Travis Hunter's game, whether he's wide receiver or corner. Corner playing opposite Christian Gonzalez, wide receiver catching passes from Drake May. Again, I personally would rather have him at wide receiver, but I think he'll be fantastic at either. Carolina Panthers. Ooh, I love Brett Hoffman for this. Spicy. Luther Burden, wide receiver Missouri to the Carolina Panthers, getting the respect he deserves in this mock draft. Look, Luther Burden for me, borderline top 10 prospect in this class. If he was in a different situation, if he was playing for a respectable passing offense, I think that Luther Burden would be a blue chip talent. That's how much physical ability he has. Just didn't quite all add up at Missouri. Quarterback play, offensive play design, the route tree, which was basically non-existent for a lot of his career, by no fault of his own. Yeah, I think Luther Burden deserves to be considered for wide receiver 1, and pairing him up with Bryce Young, I think is awesome. I absolutely love that. Jacksonville Jaguars, Mason Graham, defensive end, Michigan. Really more of an interior defensive lineman, let's be honest. But if Trent Baalke's making decisions, if this coaching staff is still in place somehow, maybe they would say, oh yeah, he's going to be our edge 4 behind Eric Armstead. No, both of those guys belong on the interior. Mason Graham for the Jaguars defense would be fantastic. A great run defender on the interior. Stout, physical, 6'3", 320. Violent hands, who also is a really good and ascending pass rusher. The Jaguars could absolutely use a player like Mason Graham at 5 overall. Tennessee Titans getting Ashton Jeanty. That's unbelievable too. You know, they go 1 year without Derrick Henry. They go get themselves another blue chip back who's just going to destroy AFC South defenses for the next however many years. I love Ashton Jeanty. I think that he is so explosive and such a good tackle breaker, got good vision, lateral jump cuts, patience, contact balance after he breaks tackles. Special guy and really willing and good pass protector, and underrated pass catcher and route runner. New York Jets, Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I think DJ Reed is probably going to move on, so I could certainly see them going with cornerback. Will Johnson, as long as he is able to show throughout the pre-draft process that he has that athleticism, because he's been dealing with the foot injury, that he has that athleticism we're looking for that we've seen on tape from him, I think is a blue chip prospect. So that's really exciting there for the Jets to have Sauce and Will kind of locking it down. Makes a lot of sense. Cleveland Browns taking Siobhan Revelle, coming off the ACL. Cornerback out of East Carolina this early. That is bold. That is spicy. Just like the Luther Burden pick, which I love to see this type of stuff here in mock drafts. Get a little creative with it. I think had Revelle been able to play this full year and not had the injury, there's a chance he would be viewed in this like top 10 type of pick with his athletic ability, his ball skills, his instincts. He is a special talent, so I like that a lot. Chicago Bears taking Will Campbell. We've seen that before. I like that. I think he's going to be playing on the interior, but they can use it help on the interior. And I think if we had tape of him as a guard or center, he probably would be a blue chip prospect for me. But because I'm projecting him inside, not quite blue chip, so that's where I fall with that. Cincinnati Bengals taking Kelvin Banks is interesting, certainly. Um, you know, they have Orlando Brown, right? And they just drafted Amarius Mims. You kick in Banks inside. Maybe. It's a little rich for me. There's some guys on the board I think would have helped the Cincinnati Bengals a little bit more, quite frankly, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And even on offense, if you lose T. Higgins, I don't know. Kelvin Banks is not the pick I would make for the Bengals there. New Orleans Saints taking James Pierce Jr. I like this pick. If Mickey Loomis is in charge, are they still going to be drafting these big hulking edge defenders? If that's the case, James Pierce Jr. won't be the pick, but I love his blend of length, explosiveness off the ball, quickness. He really knows how to threaten the outside arc, bend around the edge, and he's able to use your fear of him being able to do that to cross your face and get inside and be in the quarterback's lap in a flash. I love the way he plays the game. And he is a disruptive run defender. He's never going to be the biggest edge rusher, but he can be very disruptive against the run. Dallas Cowboys taking Tyler Warren out of Penn State. I love this pick. Obviously, tight end might not be the biggest need for them, but I think Tyler Warren is an offensive engine of sorts. Pairing him with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb makes a lot of sense to me. And he is in my top 10. He is just outside of the blue chip range for me. So this is a good value pick and a player who will help the Cowboys offense get going in 2025 and beyond. So big, so physical, explosive, incredible hands, surprising nimbleness at 260 as a route runner and as a ball carrier. And he's a freight train with the football in his hands. Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. That's a very commonly mocked pick. I love it. If Javon Holland leaves, Malachi Starks is an upgrade in my opinion. So, that just makes a lot of sense. Indianapolis Colts taking Tez Johnson, the wide receiver out of Oregon. Okay, I have a second round grade on Tez Johnson. I'm higher on Tez Johnson than most people are. This would be rich. Like, isn't Tedero McMillan still on the board? Wow. And look, Tez I think that there's a overlap in skill sets with Tez and Josh Downs too. Interesting. Very interesting. Wow. I think there's overlapping skill sets. I think it's a little bit of an overvalue, overdraft. It'd be exciting though. It would be exciting. Jalen Walker, edge to the Falcons. Gosh, they've needed a real edge for a very long time in Atlanta, and Jalen Walker, in my opinion, is not that yet. Maybe he could become that. Supreme physical athleticism, right? But I don't think he's a nuanced edge rusher, and I don't think he's a nuanced off-ball linebacker. And so, I think you have someone who can become one or both of those things. But right now, it's just kind of a ball of clay, in my opinion. And he is physical, explosive. When he's just run and chase downhill linebacker, really good. As a flat defender, I think he's good. You got to be more than just those two things to really be worth a top 15 pick. At 16, the Cardinals take Nick Emmanwari, the safety out of South Carolina. Interesting pick. If Budda Baker moves on, yes, safety will be a huge need. I think they should keep Budda Baker personally. I really do. But, good for the rest of the NFL. Some team's going to get really lucky getting Budda Baker. But Nick Emmanwari, I love his instincts. I love his physicality, his explosiveness and length. As a box defender, sign me up. As a cover 2 safety, sign me up. My only real question for him is if there's any sort of false step, does he have any sort of ability to regain ground? I just don't think he's that quick laterally. I don't think his redirect is elite. So taking him this highly would be a little bit questionable. But again, if you're going to use him as that cover two type of safety or box safety, yeah, I think he can have a huge impact. San Francisco 49ers taking Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. This is rich for me. Look, Trey Harris, he's 6'2", 205. He is not big enough, in my opinion, to overcome the fact that he's not a great athlete. He's just not. I think he's a day two receiver and really not even high day two. I have like maybe the turn of the second and third round, something like that for Trey Harris. Jackson Dart to the Rams, absolutely not. That is way too rich. Ole Miss offense. Look, and I love all the spiciness. I love thinking about these different things, right? I don't think Jackson Dart has a great arm. He is big, physical. He does not have to make NFL reads in the Ole Miss offense. He doesn't have to go through progressions in the NFL or in the Ole Miss offense. And again, I just think his arm is more average. Denzel Burke to the Bucs. Wow. Okay. I think Denzel Burke's skill set does make sense in Todd Bowles' defense. I agree with that, but there's better cornerbacks on the board. There absolutely are. Especially for a Todd Bowles defense. There are. Zaire Thomas, Darian Porter, just to name a couple. Amarian Hampton to the Washington Commanders. I was about to say, G&T's off the board, right? Yes, he is. G&T is off the board. So he's not my RB2. I'd be looking at Caleb Johnson or Nick Singleton, but Amarian Hampton is big. He is physical. He can get downhill. He will run through tackles, and he is explosive. He can absolutely shred defenses. So pairing him with the Commanders' rushing attack, if Cliff Kingsbury is still there, I like it. It's not the pick I would make, but I do like it. I think it could work out for the Commanders there. Los Angeles Chargers taking Isaiah Bond. It's early for Isaiah Bond, in my opinion. Did I miss Tetero McMillan? Am I losing my mind? Did we talk about that already? I'm just going back to make sure I'm not absolutely losing it here. No. Okay. Maybe Hoffman forgot about Tetero McMillan. We'll keep rolling through this thing, but this is crazy. He should be way long gone. Isaiah Bond, I think he has more potential than Xavier Worthy, but the lack of production this year is concerning a bit. I like Isaiah Bond. I just think it's a little rich here. Oh, there's Tetero McMillan right there. How is he coming off the board at 22? Let's actually read this one. Broncos offense took great strides this season with rookie Bo Nix. Cortland Sutton is in last year of his contract. The Broncos would be wise to select a stud receiver. Yeah. Often rated as the top wide receiver in this draft class, T-Mac's 6'5" frame makes him ideal for the X position in the NFL. He's adept at finding soft spots and zones, making him a red zone threat with where quarterbacks can throw the ball confidently. McMillan excels at contested catch, showing great skill in securing poorly thrown passes. Yeah, no Fafita shout out. His size, route running, and catch radius make him a potential game changer. Letting him fall to 22 is absurd in my opinion. Jahdae Barron, DB out of Texas at 23. I like it. He can play nickel. He can play safety. He can play outside. He comes with that versatility that I think that Mike McDonald could really use. Is it a little bit rich? Maybe. But I think he's going to be a very good NFL player. Baltimore Ravens getting Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. Wow. So next year you could potentially be looking at Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Colston Loveland? Is Isaiah Likely going to be is his rookie deal ending? I'm not sure. But Loveland is awesome. Absolutely awesome as a receiver. He's not going to be a stalwart blocker or anything like that. He's a F tight end, move tight end, but length, athleticism, nimbleness, very good route runner, very, very athletic tight end with great catch radius, with great hands. Yeah. That's a good pick. Very good pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Josh Simmons to the Texans, coming off the ACL. I like Josh Simmons a lot. I think he was trending towards being my OT1, but it's difficult. So now you're talking about two guys with ACLs getting drafted in the first round here would be interesting. The Texans, Are you moving on from Laramie Tunsil? Are you moving on from Titus Howard? I don't know. I don't think he's a guard. I think Josh Simmons is definitely a tackle. We'll see. That'd be interesting. Green Bay Packers getting Walter Nolan. That would be disgusting. I don't want that to happen. They always get these absolute athletic freaks. The Packers do. They usually work out. Van Ness hasn't really stepped it up yet. But Rashawn Gary, fantastic player. They obviously have Kenny. I'm forgetting his last name on the interior as well. But I love this for the Packers. I hate it for the rest of the NFC, but that would be a great pick for the Packers. Walter Nolan he has the most potential as an interior 3-tech dominant interior pass rusher in this class, including Mason Graham. Bottom line. 27, Pittsburgh Steelers, Caleb Johnson. I like that. Steelers taking a running back in the first round didn't work out great last time, but I think Caleb Johnson, he just has such sweet feet, great power. I think he's going to be a 3-down back. He's not going to be the most explosive in terms of like his ability to bust off 50, 60-yard runs, but he's going to get what's blocked for him every time. He's going to hit the right hole every time, and he's going to do it with the right pace and vision. And again, brings power. 225 pounds. He'll break tackles. I'm a fan. I'm a real big fan of Caleb Johnson. Minnesota Vikings getting Derek Harmon. We've seen this one before, and I'm here for it. Absolutely, I am. I think there's a couple guys they should be looking at in this range at defensive tackle, maybe that I have rated a little bit higher than Derek Harmon, but he's got length. He's got athleticism. He's a solid run defender, a solid pass rusher. I think he'll be a good football player for a long time for the Vikings. Buffalo Bills taking Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Notre Dame. Coming off the hip injury, I'm a little bit lower on him than this. I don't think that he should be selected in the first round with that hip and stuff going on. There's some guys I would prefer at corner. Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Scorton, edge, Texas A&M. Yes. All the yes. This would be unbelievable for them. He is 20 years old. I think he put on a little bit too much weight this year at Texas A&M, but he is explosive. He is strong. He has length. He has rare flexibility at his size, over 280 pounds right now. Again, I think you knock down the weight a little bit and you get somebody who can dominate against the run and the pass. Oh my Lord. What is this mock draft? I forgot Abdul Carter was still on the board. What? I have nothing to say. Abdul Carter should be like a top 5 pick minimum, top 6. Wow. Okay. Kenneth Grant to the Detroit Lions. Yes, I can see that all day. Kenneth Grant makes sense as a Detroit Lion. He is big. He's physical. He's 340 pounds. He's got rare flexibility and explosiveness. His size, really good run defender who has some pass rush upside and just overall playmaking upside as a freak show athlete at 340 pounds. So this was maybe the spiciest, most fun mock draft I've read that we've looked at here on the channel. There's some things that absolutely won't happen. Some guys sliding down the board that are wild. Some guys going really high. So that's a lot of fun. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.